Brunch, a taste of Tobago. Now, this is one of my favorite segments, the DIY segment. And my brother Dwayne White Jr. is here, and we're going to be doing paper mache art, okay? I've been waiting a long time to do this. And you know, Dwayne, I feel like I haven't seen you for some time now. Tell us about, you know, what you've been up to. How did you get into this? You know, briefly, I know University of the West Indies.
Yes.
Let's start there.
Yes, well, I got introduced to papier mâché and mass at UWE, the Creative Arts Department, through Larry Richardson. He taught me mass fabrication and papier mâché, which is the more economical way to create traditional mass, that is, and
Right.
even contemporary mass, if you're looking at it as using recyclable materials to create your art. So I was in UWE for 4 years, and doing mass or creating mass, I used the economical route instead of going to summaries and buy bikinis and with the beads and stuff like that. So the papier mâché is what we're going to do. We're going to create a headpiece coming from the cow mass. And this is a masquerade that is hardly seen in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were saying this this was one of the oldest forms of
creating a traditional masquerade.
Right.
Yeah. We use gazette paper, or we know it as newspaper.
Right.
Glue, Elms glue, but most papier mâché artists use poly V. Yeah, it's a type of another type of glue, a more sturdy glue. Yeah, but today we're going to be using the Elms glue. And you're going to get your hands a little messy.
That's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
All right. So what do I do?
Right, you adorn the gazette paper on the balloon like this.
Here.
Yeah.
Any side?
Any side.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. So as you're doing this, this is one way to create a quick traditional headpiece. As I said, this is coming from the cow mass, which is hardly portrayed in Trinidad and Tobago. However, it was portrayed in 2016 and 17 when I did it in Old Yard, Velaku.
Right.
Yeah, in the Creative Arts Department.
Is there a specific measurement in terms of how much glue? Because I know there's some people who are sticklers for measuring everything. Yes. So is there a measurement? Is there like a ratio in terms of?
Well, how I learned to ratio this glue to water solution is just by freelancing it, you know?
Okay.
You know, so you will see if the water is too runny, it needs more glue. If it's too thick, it needs more water.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's no specific measurement to
so it's just basic science there.
Yep, basic science here. Yeah. So this process, sometimes it takes a while because, as you can see, it has to dry a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to get the whole balloon
it has to cover the whole balloon.
Yep. Now we are using a balloon because it's one of the fastest way to create a headpiece opposed to wire. Yeah. Now the balloon gives the shape of the cow head. Yeah. And then we use cardboard pieces to make the ears, so you can stick on the ears, and then we papier mâché the ears and everything like that.
Right.
And then we have the horns. Now these horns are real cow horns that I got from the abattoir in Tobago. Yeah. Since 2015, yeah, I bought these horns and I use these horns to create replicas of other horns.
Right.
Yeah. So after we experience the papier mâché in this, we will have make our own horns.
Right.
Yeah. So about the traditional mass now, Carnival is coming up. We have our own Carnival, so I'm happy for that.
Yes. Hooray for that.
Happy for that. So to me, it's a release. It's a release. It's a renewal.
Yes.
You know, doing this kind of mask, and as a theorist, Horace Wilson said, this is awakening our sleeping resources.
Yes, it is.
And our sleeping resources stems from cultural, ecological, you know, and even in ourselves, you know, how we perform it, what we do to create it, you know. So every creative have that sleeping resource that they have to tap into.
Definitely.
Yeah? My sleeping resource, as I say, we are exploring it now, creation of traditional masquerade.
And how long have you been involved in this particular type of art? Because I know you with other forms of art. I know you with music, I know you with acting, I know you with dancing. But in terms of creating masks, how long have you been part of this wonderful
I was a part of creating and performing masquerades since 2008.
Right.
Yeah, my first performance was with Pookie from the market, when the market was the market in downtown Scarborough. Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I performed with him. I wasn't creating anything, I was just performing, and I loved the performance in the Jambalasi form. That's my mask calling.
Yes.
Yeah? So
yeah, your whole vibe when you're in that Jambalasi costume.
Yes, that's my mask calling. And then I was pushed to go to university by one of my mentors, Jared Primer.
Right.
And there I met Horace Larry Richardson, sorry. And he introduced Larry Richardson in the mass and fabrication department. And he introduced me to creation of the traditional mask using our recyclable resources.
Right.
Yeah. So I got into creating masks in 2015 when I went to the University of the West Indies. However, my performance of the art stems since 2004. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember you from 2004. You were one of, what I remember is what's iconic for me in terms of your display of talent is that Jambalasi. You embody it, the character so well. There are a few persons that I have seen with the Jambalasi portrayals.
Yes.
And embodiment is something that comes from within.
Comes from within, and that's why I mentioned the sleeping resources to begin with.
Yeah.
Because each and every one of us have that to tap into. Yeah. And Juve, the process is about a renewal. Right? If you see the flock of people coming down from Color Hall in the mud. Yeah. You will see that release. They adorn them or they mask to unmask. So when you're unmasking how you really feel what's inside, your sleeping resource is to revel. Yeah. Your sleeping resource is to be awake. Yeah. Our culture permits that. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Since enslavement.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a mask of it's a rebellious mask.
It's rebellion, but it's artistic rebellion.
Artistic. Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, because we had to be resilient.
Yes.
You know, colonialism wasn't very nice to us.
No. Yeah. So we have to have a way, find a way.
Yes.
To have a sort of voice.
Yes.
Yeah, and through playing of the mask, through this release.
And being smart about it, because you had to be cunning.
Exactly
be,
so.
You know, smart in terms of your rebellion.
Yeah. So, I will say, our culture have a richness with our masquerade and how we portray.
Yes, I agree with that. I also think that, you know, the conversation it's changing with regards to art and appreciation of art.
Yes.
And so, how do you feel about that?
Well, I am more in the performance segment of the art now. I love to create, but when I more find my joy in portraying or becoming
A character.
Character.
Yes.
In terms of, well, now it's we are in the carnival spirit. So let's say my calling mass jambalasi, I more gravitate to the performance and how the mass is being performed, you know, rather than just chip down the road and in a costume and no sort of essence or
story
towards exactly so.
Yeah.
So my stronghold is how we become, how we portray, you know, how we dive into this or tap into again, and I said it multiple times, sleeping resources.
Yes.
Yeah. To portray that point. So it's taken a turn positively, but I'm thinking more conversation should be
forthcoming. Yeah, because what's the conversation like with the young people? Are more youngsters getting involved in carnival at this aspect?
Well, I would say so in terms of playing, in terms of mass creation, but I will also say contemporary mass have its place, traditional mass has its place also.
Yeah, because just the other day I was watching TV with my daughter, and she was pointing out the different costumes.
Yeah.
And would you believe it? It was a synop of performances from Sesame Street.
Yeah.
And they had so many things going on. They had steel pan, they had, you know, mokajambis and you know, stuff like that. And there was the story of the mokajambi and, you know, mass and, you know, and it was so uplifting.
Yes.
I mean, here we are and we're out there. People know about us. But are we sensitizing the youngsters who need to know about us culturally?
No, I think that we are subliminally or sometimes subconsciously or even consciously, we are trying to sensitize the youth to gain some sort of knowledge on, the contemporary, but also the traditional. Yeah. Whilst most of them seem to gravitate to the contemporary. I mean, I would call ourselves, even though I'm not that old school, I would call myself old school because I still love to dabble in the traditional rather than the contemporary. However, I love to contemporize tradition. Yeah?
I get you.
In 2017, I created a mask called Abaddon through my ancestor, Abyssinia. Which I had a couple years ago. I have found out that he was a distant family of mine. And that's why I said that this is my mass calling, because I feel attached to this type of mass, creating it, portraying it, and it feels like a sense of renewal, as I said before, a sense of release. Yeah. And that is what Carnival and Juve to me is about, that release. So the youths nowadays have 2 days, only 2 days we have to release whatever tension. It can be sociological, it can be economical, it can even be any mental issue
it can
going
be
through,
emotional as well, because we have to release. That's part of life. We have to release.
That is
from
part
time
of life.
to time. And for those of you who don't, you would have heard Dwayne mentioning Abyssinia. For those of you, many of you are too young to even know who that is. But Abyssinia was one of those iconic Black Devils masqueraders. You were actually scared.
One of the first devils to walk the streets of Tobago.
Yeah, when he's coming down, you heard that song, Shadow, long ago in Tobago. Carnival wasn't so
So that is where my inspiration came from. And I said, here what? All right, I know about Abyssinia. The youths have to know about Abyssinia. The ones before me know about Abyssinia. So how can I contemporize this tradition to reach the younger population?
That younger demographic that needs to know.
So I created Abaddon through that. And very soon, Probably in October, for October Carnival down in Trinidad, you may hear more about my character that I've created called Abaddon through Abyssinia.
Right.
Yeah? And that also, again, tapping into my sleeping resource. And I'm saying it multiple times because sometimes we know it, but we don't do it. Yeah? Yeah, our sleeping resources don't just come from the economy and the, let's say, the normal mundane day-to-day jobs, right?
Yes.
Our sleeping resources, creativity, how we use that to elevate, you know.
But do we have a lot of carnival? I know that we have, those lovely pop-up type of museum art that you guys do.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that. Let's touch on that for a bit. I've seen the pop-up type of museum type artistry, so it's like a live sort of exhibit, and I just found it so innovative because we really have to reach people at every level.
Yeah. Well, the museum type art is actually, it was experimental. I remember being in a segment with Living Museum with my first theater company I was with. Or my second theater company, I should say, Tobago Theater Company. Yeah, and we did a Living Museum portraying our traditional masquerade and our culture, our folkloric mass also. Yeah, and it actually reached the young population in terms of how we did it. We were very innovative and creative with the idea.
Right.
Yeah. Bringing these characters to life. Yeah. Having them experience how these characters live in their day-to-day lives. Yeah. So it's a new and not so new way to dive into, again, sleeping resources. Yeah. So
we're gonna keep coming back to that that topic because it's definitely something that needs to be visited.
Yep. Yeah. So it's actually a thing. Yeah. The Living Museum, if it continues, and I hope it does, in any form or fashion that we have that we can portray, whether it's in the art industry or culinary, can have that kind of food museum. It can reach the youth, the younger population, in terms of having something new, having something innovative, a spectacle to look at.
Yeah.
So right. So these here are the ears.
How is it supposed to turn? Oh, we have a spot here with no paper.
Yeah.
Need to fix the spot.
Now, this usually, with the sun being so hot, this may take around 45 minutes or less to dry, but this usually takes within like an hour, 2 hours to dry, and then we put on another layer to strengthen it.
Right.
Yeah, because it's a headpiece, papier mâché. The more you put, the harder it is. Sometimes they put salt in the mixture to harden the material. Yeah, but this is just a quick demonstration, so I wouldn't put any salt or anything.
Right.
Yeah. When this dries, we add a second layer, and then we can create the horns, and we adorn the horns right after it dries.
Right.
Yeah, and then adorn the second layer as the horn dries. So what we'll do, we'll put this aside, and we'll show the people how we create. Now, there are many ways to create. Oh, it's rolling away on us there.
Rolling.
There are many ways to create the jambolasi horns. As I say, these are real horns I got from the abattoir. So what we're going to do is use these as the mold. And we have some foil here that we have to adorn the horns with, right? So I'll have your piece ready. Let's leave this on the foil here. And half piece ready for you. Yeah, that wouldn't go anywhere far. Yeah. I'll have piece ready for you.
So what are we doing? We are wrapping the horns.
We are wrapping the horns with the foil. Again, our next. Oh, you want to roll away from us there?
Yeah, it's rolling.
Our next innovative way to create traditional masks using recyclable materials. Yeah. So we are wrapping it. Make sure the peak is wrapped, and it doesn't have to look. Oh, it's still rolling. It doesn't have to look neat because it's being covered. Yeah. Although some spots are missed, sometimes when it dry, we can get that with the second layer, with the second coating. Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna just squeeze it together as tight as you can. Yeah, let me help you there. Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And another release I get from creating traditional masquerade is a sense of comfort and a sense of it's a sense of tranquility. Yes, therapeutic and
that's the word.
Yes, yeah, it's very therapeutic. You get a sense of tranquility while doing this.
So these are the horns.
These are the horns. Right. Now they're looking kind of rough right now, and that's why you need, I would say, you need help while creating this kind of masquerade. Yeah, you can't do it alone, although you can, but it's good to have a little bit of help. Yeah.
Let me tear and you.
No problem.
You
Yeah. Yeah. So when we finish making these horns, they will be sturdy enough to use for any character that needs horns, such as the folkloric character Papa Bois, such as the female Jambolassie, the lady patroness or lady temptress, or such as the normal Jambolassie or the imps who have horns. So it's pretty, it can be, like a better word, universal. Yeah?
I just love it. I think our culture is so unique, it's so rich, it's so diverse. I think so many of the aspects of our culture, it's born out of rebellion. It's born out of like forging ahead and looking for a better standard of living, a standard of life. So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
It is.
Do we still have tutors going to schools? Is that still a thing?
I would love to answer that question. I would love to know myself.
Yeah.
Because I was once going to those schools
thing.
when I used to work at the Department of Culture. Yeah. Back in 2008. Yeah. Stemming from 2008 to 2015. We used to go at schools, communities, sharing the teachings of our mass, our culture, how to perform a masquerade or how to perform a certain character on set. Yeah. I would like to believe it's still going on. Yeah. So, and I used to have joy. Well, still, I still do enjoy going to schools and teaching the young ones about our tradition.
But how did you get into drama, though? Because you're an awesome dramatist. Tell us a bit about
Thank you. It wasn't easy.
Drama journey.
My drama journey. Have some stories that are told and untold.
And
have some
ups and downs.
Ups and downs, plenty downs. I got into this in 2003. Yeah. Now, as young as I may look, I went to Elizabeth's College. When Maureen was Maureen Elizabeth's College.
Yeah, Maureen.
Yeah. And my first teacher was Glenda Rose Lane. She taught me theater arts, and that's when theater arts was stigmatized as homosexual and the fellas in it. That taboo thing, and I didn't care. I realized I didn't care at the time.
Yeah. It's something that you loved
that
and
I
you
loved.
wanted to pursue.
However, in those times, you know how parents can be. Yeah, in those times, theater, it wasn't making sense in the household. Yeah, long ago. And some aspect of life now, some parents still kind of have the notion that it's just a hobby. But
it's still a sore topic as
it's
well.
It's still a sore topic, yes.
When youngsters want to make a career of arts.
Yep. And that was my first love. Despite I was versed in sound technician, my first love was on stage.
Right.
So much that whilst doing my CXC, I dropped accounts for theater arts.
Right.
And the household wasn't happy for that. I dropped accounts for theater. And
so it was a bit ticklish.
It was a bit ticklish, And my journey started in 2000. After 2003, I acted in Voices of Africa. So this is a replica. And now what we are going to do is just full them.
Stuff it.
Stuff it to just have it firm, sturdy. So as I was saying, in 2003, I began performing. I got into the arts through Blender Ruth Lane, and then it segued when I transferred to Mason Hall Secondary School, and then got picked up by Dr. Brenda Baden-Semper.
Right.
Yeah, she was my second theater teacher. Yeah. I had a lot of mentors. I had a lot of teachers.
Because I was just about to ask you about some of the persons that you may have met on your journey.
Countless. In Tobago alone, the names are too much to mention. Stemming from the recent, I would say the recent Miss Rachel Pierre, the recent Jared Primer, my mentors, stemming from Tony Hall, God rest his soul, Louis McWilliams, Dr. Ifiwo Wilkinson. I had a lot of mentors that guide me throughout the way.
Definitely.
A lot of names I haven't called also. And they were my stronghold, and they encouraged me to pursue this craft, to further this craft. In performance that is not just mass, not just acting on stage, but the art of performing and the art of performance being an art.
And owning your art, owning your craft. Because that's the thing, letting your art speak through you. And I think that's why you love doing characters. Because it allows you to dig. You dig deep.
Yes. It have a library of characters, and when I have a story about that too, how I develop my characters on stage. One way, after my tenure at university and COVID hit, right? COVID hit around 2020 or 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
And I came back to Tobago. Now I was into the mass arena and into the performance arena in Trinidad. And when I came back to Tobago, it all fall down. Ashes, we all fall down.
Ashes go, puppy lay down, as they say.
I began to cash. I began cashing. And that's where I met this a wide array of characters just coming, and all sorts of characters. And when I say characters, I mean real life characters that you can take under your belt or add to your library of characters and create. And
that's what we endeavor to do, I mean, the creativity. Guys, we're gonna wrap, but before we do that, thank you to Dwayne, my brother from another mother, for coming and showing us this wonderful art. Of course, we can show you what it's gonna look like, because these props need time to dry, the aesthetics need time to dry. So this is how a paper mache mass would look. This is how it looks at the end of it all.
Yep.
So we're adding layers. The more layers we add,
Yes.
it becomes harder, it becomes more concrete, if I could use that word.
Yeah.
And of course, paper mache is one of the oldest forms, you were saying,
Yes.
of creating traditional masqueraders. All right, so we're going to take a break, guys. We're going to finish up here, but before we take the break, our trivia question, let me just get ready to mention that again. The largest brain coral in the Western Hemisphere is located in what reef in Tobago? You guys get to typing. Let's see what answers you come up with. Jewel Green George joins us next. Reginald P. Dumas is here, and we're going to be discussing his journey as an author. Stay tuned for Book Club when we return with Brunch, A Taste of Tobago. See you guys soon.